Those are the ones that are all flooded.
Well, I would think
There's one at the corner
the
there.
site you want to.
That was, I know that it was. You know, they say only just like 14 size, and I was like, it's like 15, 14 kids left. Yeah. Like, people ever get 30 feet of water over. We get 30 feet of water. Yeah. Bigger problems. Networks is underwater. All your plant layers are underwater. So, better start going real hard because you're like PSI. Yeah, you have that much water. There's animals going right to you somewhere.
Okay, if you'll join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. If you've not signed in and wish to do so, now would be the time to do that. I see we're all, almost all present and accounted for. Dave's not here. Okay?
He's on this one.
Well, Dave's not here, so we.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so at this point, we'll go to item 4, agenda modifications. Anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda at this point?
Well, something that was missing, I just realized from old business was the cargo container ordinance that Eric brought us last time. But I was going to suggest that we move it to the next meeting, so unless the council wants it on here, can we just automatically flag it for the next meeting?
Was that tiny homes?
Yeah, tiny home, not cargo, sorry.
I have a change too. Are you done?
Yeah.
Mine goes down to unfinished business union contract vote. That, from the council standpoint, talked about that. We want to elect 3 council members for a personnel committee to assist in negotiating at his request.
Okay, we'll deal with that when we.
I want to add that, so there's an explanation of what we're doing.
All right, okay. Any other agenda modifications at this point? Great. Okay, so I'll accept motions to approve minutes for the special meeting, the budget meeting, right? That is on August 12th.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we'll start there and work up how's that.
Okay, on the one on the special council meeting on it was Tuesday, actually, not Monday.
Oh,
Tuesday, August 12th, and time and everything okay. And then about in the middle, it says burn pile expenses, and there was a discussion. The committee suggested raising funds. Oops. The sale of the old city shop and city property. The money could possibly use towards facilities, airports, and union costs. I don't think I said union costs.
that was part of the discussion.
Yeah, I believe the terminology was, without knowing where the union was going to go, we may need those funds for,
Okay,
I believe that's.
but the money wasn't gonna go towards the funds.
Right. But if that's what you said, then that's what was reported.
Okay, because I hate to see taxpayers' money go into that,
I understand.
so.
I think that was essentially like a reserve in case we need it for increasing expenses, unknown expenses. That's
Okay.
what you want.
Yes. So at this point, are there any additions to the August 12th meeting? Okay.
I think we probably should go through them one at a time. Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes? Make a motion, okay, I'll approve August 12th minutes. Okay, second,
I'll second it.
March 2nd, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now let's roll to the 28th, special council meeting minutes for the 28th.
It's on
Okay. We have 4 meetings that we gotta approve, issues. Okay? Anybody, any questions, any additions or corrections to those? All right, I'll accept the motion. I make a motion, we accept the council meeting for July 28th, Monday. Okay. Is there a second? Can second, okay. Any discussion, all those in favor say aye.
the.
Opposed? Okay, so let's roll the 21st council meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections at this point?
They said, it just, that was a regular council meeting, wasn't it? Not special. It says special.
So that was the regular. Yeah, the 14th was the one that was a special one. So you need to change that to the regular council meeting then?
Mine says.
It was the regular,
July
21st was the
I don't know,
regular.
just in the top box here, I'm looking
Oh,
at special.
thank you. Okay, sorry.
Okay. All right, so the 21st meeting, additions and corrections? So the motion to accept? Make a motion to accept Monday, July 21st. Second,
Second.
March 2nd, for discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Awesome.
Opposed? Okay, great, let's go to the 14th, the special council meeting. Go look at them. Any additions or corrections at this point? If none, I'll accept the motion to approve them. I make a motion with the special council meeting Monday, July 14th. Okay, it's been moved, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Shall we second it? Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, motion passes. Okay, we'll go to section 6, public comments from the audience. Remind you, 3 minutes, it's not a discussion, it's not a debate, you get 3 minutes. I will warn you at about 2:45, and at that point, kind of like this, pull up short, and we'll go from there, okay? All right?
So at the special council meeting about the union stuff, I made a comment to one of the council members. It was an unrecognized comment, and I want to clarify it. The way it was addressed, it sounded like an individual comment on that to that one council member. And I want to clarify that it was really more of a collective comment towards the majority of the council that tends to vote as a block. So I want to just clarify that comment. I don't know if you remember if it's in the minutes, but had to do with the reason we were going over the union stuff. So the other thing at that same meeting, one of the council members mentioned something about leaders and about the council being our leaders, and you're our representatives. You're not our leaders. So I just want to make sure that was understood by all of you. We've elected you, however it came about. The other thing I want to bring up was in the budget retreat that you guys had. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but there were several suggestions on cost-cutting measures that you could take. And the one that caught my ear was eliminating code enforcement. Well, and I don't know where it went from there. That's just about all I listened to. But if you were to get rid of the code enforcement officer position, all those ordinances that you've been passing on containers and tiny houses and dogs and all that, they're gone. Without enforcement, you might as well not even have those ordinances. So I just want to throw that out there, that I almost see that as another attack on employees. But it's not going to save us a bunch if all of a sudden we've got containers stacked sky high and tiny houses where nobody wants them and things like that. So I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else? Okay. None?
I don't want to disagree there, but I do think you guys are leaders of the community. That's the reason they elected you, and they expect you to be out front taking care of our city, so I do consider you leaders. Last time we were, had a council meeting, Doug Palmer got up here and sort of gave the impression that somebody in council misused tobacco. Of course, it was been Dave, was the one he was looking at, and he said he saw him using it and bringing it back, and there was smoke coming out of the motor somewhere. No one ever commented on it, and it really bothered me because I thought Dave probably took advantage of his position on the council, and I know the council had already voted one time not to let not only city employees but even council members use city equipment anymore. And I was thinking, dang it, Dave.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went and saw him finally. It bugged me for a couple of days, and I finally went down there and I said, we need to talk about this. Well, Doug Palmer was correct in one thing. He did see him take the backhoe, and he did see him come back with smoke. Okay. I believe that it just happened, and I think maybe people in the audience might have thought it just sort of happened. I know the people maybe at home that watched it probably thought it just happened. Well, it just didn't just happen. It happened last year. Okay. It happened at a time when Dave was taking care of our burn pile, running that backhoe both in the spring and the fall, and I even sometimes I know that it was sort of like a perk that I think that the mayor gave to city employees and to council members to use city equipment. And since then, I know the council has said no to that. But at that time that he used that backhoe, it was permissible to use it. Okay. In fact, Kevin was using that backhoe a lot with his building project there up on Main and Crosby, and personally, I'm thinking wonderful. Kevin has done a lot for the city over the years. If there's a perk, he deserves it. Okay. Dave was out here for 2 or 3 years taking care of our burn pile. So if there's a perk, he deserves it. Okay. I was thinking that when Doug Palmer came up here, he probably should have said, I saw him doing it last year. But he didn't. He gave an impression, at least to me, that it just happened. So I'm going to apologize to you, Dave, because I thought ill of you. Okay, I know I was wrong. I'm also going to apologize for Doug Palmer for saying this because he sort of misled everybody on that the other time we had a council meeting with that accusation.
You're at 2:45, John.
Could I have a little bit more if I needed?
We can vote.
Okay.
Yes.
If we agree
Okay.
with the majority of council.
I'm almost done.
So if I would like to
Can you
extend
get in
it.
another minute or something?
Yep. Okay. So I'm thinking, so why did Doug Palmer come up here? Okay. I know he'd already reported it probably to Stephen. He probably reported it already to Roy last year. Okay. So why is he coming in here and tattling on Dave, okay, with misinformation in front of everybody? I would hope it's not because of the election in November. Okay. I hope it's not coming here to smear his reputation because he is running for a council seat again. And I think people are going to see this and they're going to turn around and say, hey, he took advantage of his position on the council and used some equipment, which is not right. That was not accurate. Okay. So what I really would like to do is apologize. I will, because I was wrong. I'd like to apologize for Doug Palmer, okay? Because I think he came, and it's almost shameless. If he came in here for the sole purpose of smearing your reputation prior to his election, okay? I'm saying shame on him, okay? That's all I can say.
Thank you. Any more comments at this point? Great. Okay, we'll go to community group updates. Anybody have anything for us? We're busy at this point, so. Okay, unfinished business. We're going to go to AA union contract vote. Okay, what's council's?
Yes. Just so everybody understands what we were trying, as we move along in the negotiation, our negotiator indicated that he would like a personnel management of 3 people to assist him in negotiations. So when he communicates back and forth, we'll also make sure the 3 that will keep all the rest of the council informed of what's going on. But instead, it's much more manageable to have a smaller number versus all 7 all the time. And so that's what we're doing today. So what we want to do is make a motion for 3 council members to serve on that personnel committee at the to work with the negotiator. So
Okay, I would like to make a motion that Pete and Shelley and Dave would be our 3 representatives for that.
Okay. Anybody, any council members have any other comments on this? Anybody?
Why those 3?
Will be bid for the longest. Well, that's my reason. You know, it doesn't have to be your reason, they would have my reason. So,
Are you wanting to be on it?
Would you like to be included in this, Dan, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Would they have a problem with 4?
I don't think so. We'll be all right.
Is that gonna work for you, Deb?
You gotta let me know, so I have to take time off and work
Right,
Zoom or whatever.
right, sure, certainly, they'll keep you posted. Okay. All right. We hear a motion, I suppose we gotta have a motion to this effect, okay? That these are the 4 union negotiating representatives, how's that? Okay,
I can make a motion, I guess. I'll make the,
sure.
Well, she made a motion, somebody has to
Yeah.
second.
Okay, so the motion's out
but
there.
I'd like
We-
to revise that to include
We
Dan.
need to include Dan, as well.
Sure.
We'll amend that to include, we're gonna amend that. We're just gonna include Dan on there to make it easy, okay? Is there a second to that? Sherry seconds, okay? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, thank you.
You're opposed.
Oh, Mike was opposed, okay.
And to clarify, this isn't to leave any of the rest of the council out. We will be reporting back, there will be times when I believe everybody will meet Zoom with Tony. So it's just to move forward, like if we would a committee or anything else.
Yeah, Tony had requested, not us.
Yeah, it's his idea.
He wanted it, that's how
To
we
do
do it.
this.
Okay, so is it within my purview to ask how that's going?
not till tomorrow.
You haven't met?
We've met for an hour and he told us what we needed to do
Okay.
to get a smaller group because they didn't want to work with 7.
And
Too many people going.
it seems unlikely that there'll be any public comment on the negotiations.
No, it's
As you
just-
well know, but the organization is being put together. And there's been communication on both sides. And so all the parts are there. It's just gonna take
So
time.
you've met once and you've laid the groundwork.
Yeah.
Well, not really, we just sort of, it was more of an introduction, and because we
Okay.
didn't move forward because we really didn't have something formal. And when you say both sides, Tony has been in contact with Jimmy during this,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and he is well aware of the steps that we need to do.
All right, okay.
Question, at what point in time do we have to accept or reject the proposal? It could be considered a delay by not accepting or rejecting it, and it's never been formally rejected.
We'll have to
We
find
will
out.
know after we meet.
Okay, I just don't want us to end up with something that's gonna go against the city because we delayed it. That's my
And
only
Jimmy is
concern.
aware
No,
of this.
no.
Okay.
Hopefully we proceed expeditiously. How's that? Does that sound like, is that a good word? Okay. Okay, perfect. Transportation plan review. I believe you'll see it in your packets. Someplace among the numerous pages.
Is it hard to put page numbers on these when you do this?
Because I don't generate many of these documents. It's not like they're Word documents or something that I can just change.
Okay, it's about a
It's right after.
quarter of the way
minutes.
in. Yeah. It's right after the minutes, in order.
But is this the same list that we got a couple months ago? Has there been any changes to it? Or which changes have been?
Yes, ma'am, go
So I was gone for that meeting in July, and when I came back, I had some questions, and there was some ambiguity. Wasn't really sure what was meant by some of the suggestions, so, this is the same list, so I need to understand what it is that we want.
Well, one of the things we had talked, what seems to be left off is that we talked about the street that wraps around Rural Park. And I believe Stephen said he had actually left that off, that that was gonna, we talked about that for quite some time. And
Isn't that number
That's 5 and
one?
6.
I don't know, I can't, I
No.
know.
5 and
it's
6
not.
needs to be moved to 1.
Is that not
No.
Broadway?
No,
Oh,
that's
you're right,
Broadway.
that should be, I apologize. The reason why that is that way is because it's, I'm saying Broadway on there when it should be
Crosby, okay, well
Yes.
that, because those streets are already paved.
right, that's my
Okay,
mistake,
that was
and
what I
I
was
apologize.
confused, so.
Yeah.
So it should
five,
say
your 5 and
Crosby
6
then?
is north. Crosby.
No, year 1 and 2.
Oh, 1 and
To
2.
pay
Okay.
from Alder up to Crosby to Roosevelt
Okay.
Street and from,
And to Ramsey.
yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
That's it.
and across
Up
Roosevelt to
Crosby.
Ramsey.
And then the other-
No worries, I really
That's
apologize.
And then the other question I had was, I saw in the meeting minutes, it reminded me that Linda Sundance had come and asked about her street again, and I don't remember what street, is that Lindsay Street?
Lake,
Lake
it's the
Street.
very little tip on Lake Street.
Is that somewhere on here or?
It is not. She did ask about it, but it was not part of the plan.
Is there somewhere, because it's just a block, didn't we determine that there's like 5 homes affected by that, there are driveways? There's at least 4 driveways, and then there's 2 side streets. So is there somewhere, if we had a project, that it could be tucked into another one, especially if it's on that end of town?
It would make a lot more sense to do that when we're working right, as you say, like on Leslie Street or on Hingle Street. Someplace that's near there, Leslie in particular is closer.
So you
that
go
would be
4
year
and
4 and
5.
5.
So can we add First Street?
And just to say the, what is it, the 100 north block of Lake. The pavement.
Well, my thing on that is, why not just doing 4 or 5 loads of gravel up there and just smooth it out?
Well, it's not, that we have to gravel. She's asking that we pave it, because the gravel doesn't, especially in the winter, it's not working.
Pavement can be really slick,
Yeah. I think so.
right?
Yeah,
Gravel at least has got some grip
but it
to
can
it.
be plowed.
So Eliza, along with that same reasoning about doing other streets when you're in the area, another one that really would, I think would be helpful is to go from Alder to, or when you're on Alder, go Howard to Lake. There's just one, it's just right there by the Wheaton Apartments. That is a gravel road.
Right. Well, we are still waiting to know whether or not we have, we'll get some help from DOT for paving our gravel roads. So we're hoping to get all of the rest of that part of town that's still gravel. So,
Yeah,
but
just ones
I understand what you're saying. If you,
Just,
The
you know,
apartment
there-
is around up to like.
well, you wouldn't have to go put around, but just that one section, you know, there by the Wheaton Apartments. I mean, that, the road clear around is probably seldom used by very many, you can say. But the Wheeland Apartments is a different story, and if we're there doing Rural Park, you're just a block away, 2 blocks away.
You're saying, so going up past,
Lori Severs and,
up around that loop, that's.
yeah, but
that's
not the whole,
that's a-
just that block.
That's a bus route, but yeah.
You take that little dirt road,
that gravel road that goes up past.
By Byron's in
Where
the
Sean
corner.
Fletcher, where Gary Eaton used to live and around, yeah, that's what those are. So, that's, and it does get a significant amount of travel on the gas.
But I don't think that this is gravel, is it?
Oh, yeah, it's gravel. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
This looks like a path almost.
We're not talking about the same one.
I think you might be talking about North Lake Street. It has one block past Dickens.
Yeah, you just.
Yeah,
maybe
but that
you
maybe
go
was,
around.
maybe it
Right
was
next
paved
to
at
the-
one time, but it's kind of rubble now.
Yeah, you're not talking about that.
No, no,
I wasn't
no,
talking
no.
about that one.
Okay.
No, I'm just talking about the,
Okay,
the other is paved. All of that other is paved.
right,
Where you're talking about is paved.
okay. All right, so yeah, that just went in a couple days ago, correct, Monday? That DOT transportation. Was that when that process went in?
No, that's it.
That was a different one that we sent in, panicked and, okay, perfect. Okay,
So I just have another question too. Who does this list?
So part of it's based on what has happened in the past, kind of the recommendations that were made of different things that need to be done around town. So some of these recommendations probably are going back 7, 8, 9 years, just depending on, what funding comes in for different parts of town.
Just to
So,
let you know, though, BJ is the one that came up with this list. What was it, 4 years ago now? BJ is the one that was on this.
originally, yeah.
usually they ride around with the city guys and kind of come to a conclusion and a plan.
Because I think that would be helpful now, even if, a couple of council members became part of a group to go with, it would help Stephen, I think. He's got not enough on his plate.
Sure.
And I would be more than willing to volunteer to do that and take a look at the streets, the sidewalks, all of what is in here, that, because as years go on, the situations change a lot.
So Mark, what you're suggesting, and your dad's talked about being aware of what's going on the road, you're suggesting a committee,
A couple of council members.
three-person
that-
committee for deal with roads, and then whoever,
And then maybe the community could feel comfortable with reaching out to us and say, hey, this really is a concern, and we can bring it back to you.
sure, I mean, you can have that in a chair, and you can rotate whoever wants to go out there, who has time to review all these things, it's a good idea. I mean, so the
In-
council has some input on what goes on.
And it'd be help, it'd be a help in the situation, be helpful, yes.
In the past, just as Mike is at the airport and Dave is water and sewer, and I've lost track because we've changed so many people about who's in charge of what. In the past, one council member has kind of taken that individual project as theirs.
Mhm.
For instance, as the cemetery was, as buildings were, as roads were. And so, it's really helpful to have that input from somebody. And BJ, before BJ was, I think Troy Wilson was on it at one point. And try to find somebody that's got a little expertise in the field to go help. And so as I look around here, our natural guy would be Dan because of the county experience and stuff like that, and understanding all of that, how it works, so.
Two things. If the council wants to make a committee out of it and have Dan be the chairman, they could. Dan, how do you want to approach this?
Just need one person.
One person. You need any,
And report back.
if you need any assistance, you could ask somebody.
Yeah, but then you just report back.
Okay,
This
You
is
good with
what
that?
we came up with, and we'll go from there. Right.
that sounds good to me.
Although I would like to say, March, do you have a committee that you've ever been given the opportunity?
No.
I mean, I don't
So
have.
here she is stepping out and volunteering, and we kind of cut her off.
I think I'm capable.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should vote then. And just I mean, Dan, do you really want to do it? Well, you probably don't have a committee either, huh?
Well, there's been such a turnover on the council, we probably haven't gone through that list to figure out where everybody's roles and what they, so thanks for reminding me, and I'll bring that up at the next meeting, we'll bring that up and push that out there. Somebody's supposed to go help be the liaison to the fire department and to the police and even to the ambulance type of thing, so.
Well, we had that, but is, I mean, up till some years ago, according to, and you've been on a long time, didn't they have committees that, three-person committees that dealt with these issues, roads, water, sewer? Didn't that exist?
Mostly a single council member that would report back to the council.
Yeah.
Am I right, Dave?
Yeah, that's the way it's always been, one person that over all these committees.
And there was a point before I got on when each of those council members did a report about their specific, and it could get a little long, how's that? So we've, this is the way we've done it now. Have we done a very good job of it? No, not really, but, yeah. All right.
Well, Dan, could you do that and come back and report to the council and then see where we are?
I could, but
Mark volunteered.
Marge volunteered. She wants to do it. She can drive the roads and she can know what needs to be done
Okay.
and come back and report to
You
us.
don't have to drive a truck.
Okay,
You don't have to drive a grader.
so Marge, are you on then?
I'm on for it,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, if she wants to, she can.
That's what it takes. All right. Okay, B, Jim Gordon, you're up.
Do we need to approve that plan?
We need to approve it. Not too much, you gotta bring that into changes.
Oh, we need to make changes to it.
We will discuss that.
Did we have to vote on
If you want to approve the plan with the changes that were made, it needs to be voted on.
Okay, at this point, I'll accept the motion.
I'll take the motion report to Marge on the, for the street.
All right, and
it? Are
We
we
accept
talking
the
about
plan.
approving the plan, the
Transportation.
transportation?
Well, I
Oh,
don't think we should approve
let's
this
get that
until we go and look it over. Meet, this is
Let's go
something.
transportation.
Okay, so we'll just wait till the next.
Yeah,
You
let's
don't wanna do
table
it?
it till
all right,
then.
okay, all right. Excuse me, sorry, Jim, you're up now.
Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff, and concerned citizens. For those who don't know me, my name is Jim Gordon. My wife and I and family have lived in Tekoa for over 40 years. My wife was born and raised here. We have loved living in this unique community with so many businesses, organizations, opportunities, and great schools. The uniqueness of Tekoa, at least in the past, was that we all worked together if something needed to be done. For example, the care center was built by citizens investing in it because it was something the community needed. The arena was built with volunteers. The ambulances were bought with donations from moneymakers and our citizens with no tax dollars. Streets were plowed by farmers when the city was overwhelmed with snowstorms. Things get done when everyone works together for the good of our community. I'm upset and disappointed in what is happening in Tekoa. It appears Tekoa is being divided by people who are listening to rumors, in some cases outright lies. Mr. Mayor and Council, look at your job description. Taken from your own website, it says you are to the best for your constituents. I hope that people can put their egos in neutral and engage their better selves. When I served on city council, each member was selected to represent a certain part of the city's services, such as airport, street, water and sewer, cemetery, etc. That member worked with the staff to help with research and help decide what's the best way to proceed with a project. The council supported the staff and the staff supported the council. I hope you all can get back to that. You can always learn something from each other. Why is it the first time Tekoa do the employees feel they need to unionize? Do they feel they have to pay a union to put pressure on the council? It seems like the council felt forced to hire an attorney. I was a union member for 35 years, and I have been a member of the negotiating committee. I also have been on strike. All contracts need to be negotiated by representatives of both the employer and the employees. The contracts need to be negotiated in good faith. I have reviewed the contract that was presented to the council. Although there are some good things in it, to me, the contract as written seems truly one-sided. If wages, benefits, and perks are agreed to, it will affect the whole community, especially the low-income and fixed-income citizens. I mostly certainly will affect more, not only the city levies, but school levies, park levies, and hospital district levies. It could also affect our business district that needs to be supported not only by citizens, but by our city council or facing losing them. The same goes with services such as fire, ambulance, medic clinic, and pharmacy. I could explain why we have these wonderful things at Tekoa, but what it comes down to is caring about your neighbor. I felt Tekoa needs to get back to a community that work together to accomplish goals. We need to be a team again, and as an old coach told our team, if you cannot be a team player, get out of the way of the people who can. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Jim. Stephen, you're up. Manhole covers. I'm sorry. Nice skip, Matt.
Yeah.
Stephen, take a break.
Matt can go first.
Matt, you're up. Sorry.
No, that's all right. But maybe you were saving me for later. So, wanted to say hi. It's been a little change in my arena here. I'm no longer with Century West. I started my own engineering company. It's just myself for now. But just lots of reasons. I don't want to go into that here. But one of the things that I was working on at Century West, we've had discussions with the port and the town about changing that contract over from Century West. And I talked this through with Century West too, so they understand and are on board with it. But part of it is dealing with writing a small water system plan update for the town. And the experience I have with the town over the last 20 some years just made sense to shift that contract from Century West over to my new business. So the contract you have in hand is the same contract, the same scope of work, the same everything, other than the work that's already been done. That's been subtracted out of what's there. And so the intent is just to kind of, I was going to do this before and just moving it over to the new venture. Like I said, Century West is on board with that, and they understand and think it's the right thing to do too. So that's what that is there for. But I'm excited. This new venture, my goal is to continue working with Tekoa, other small communities, because that's what I love to do and that's what I want to do. And so that was part of the reason why I started my own thing, is I was being pulled in a different direction, and I wanted to keep working with Tekoa and other communities I work with, because that's where I get my career satisfaction out of it. So wanted to continue that relationship. Yeah.
So Matt, it's a huge relief to see you here.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Great.
It was after the one meeting when you weren't here, it was, I mean,
Yeah.
it was horrible.
Sorry.
But we have total trust in you because of your experience and expertise. So what you're saying is that Century West is fine with that? They aren't gonna hold us liable for anything that we thought they were hired on to do and they thought they were hired on to do?
So we've talked through this too, and I think it makes the most sense to have them finish out this plan, the facilities plan that they're working on. But I told Dr. Roy too, I said, I'd like a chance to review that before it gets finalized, because I'd like to make sure that all of what's in my head is in that document, and I haven't looked at it. So, and also make sure that what I understand you guys want is in that document too. And so, talking with Roy about, whether I'd like to review it for the city's benefit and then present the comments to you to present to Century West to incorporate. But it doesn't, because I haven't been involved in that, it kind of be starting over with that one. So that one, it doesn't make sense to really be switching.
They have put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how they're willing to relinquish all that, to you, and when then everybody's cool with that.
Yeah.
And
So but they're gonna finish out that plan and get it to a draft. I thought they'd be here to present it tonight, but apparently that didn't
I'm
work
glad
out.
they're not.
Yeah. Well, what I want you to know is that when it's done and they have a draft and present it, the draft to you, I'd like a chance to look at it
Sure.
for your benefit. Because I am concerned about it too. So,
Well, I think we can all breathe this huge sigh of relief just to see you here.
yeah,
So
well,
Matt, we're hiring you in addition to, Century West, so we're committed to finishing our contract and those costs with them, and then we would be paying you this
No.
extra $70,000.
this one will replace, so there's two projects that we're talking about. One is a small water system plan update, and that is related to the Port of Whitman County's property out north, that they're paying for the small water system plan update, so it's not costing you anything. And this contract that you have in front of you is replacing that one. So what you'll do is you'll send a notice to Century West that says we're canceling this contract. It's an article in the contract terms that says you can cancel it with 30 days notice. So, but like I said, I've talked through it with them, and I think Eliza, you talked to Raleigh as well. So you can take my word for it, but having Eliza talk to them to say that that there's they know that contract is getting moved from Century West to me. So there's no more cost on that one. The other one is the facilities plan, and that's with the treatment plant upgrades. And that one is, that's the one that they spent all the budget on it. It makes the most sense to have them finish it. And I told Roy that I would review it, even if it was on my own time, to provide a review for the city's benefit. But it doesn't make sense to try and start something new with that one from scratch, because the budget's been spent. To write a new plan, I'm gonna have to charge something to write a new plan, and there's no more funding at ecology to do that. I know you probably asked for more money, but I don't think it makes sense for that. You've
So
already,
you don't have access to all your documents and stuff from Central West, that's.
that one, yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah,
That's our property. Those are our
Yeah,
contracts.
so,
Yes.
so we,
Yeah, and
so we
each,
can consult. like you.
yes, we can ask for them. And every portion of the project, like the sewer project, once the facilities plan is done, then a new contract would have to be signed to
For the design.
to further progress. So that's why, once the facilities plan has been submitted, Matt looks over it, we send it back to Century West to do some corrections. Then it will go to ecology, and then Century West will be taking care of that out.
and then you can,
How long is that gonna be?
like I said, I thought they'd be here tonight with the
Yeah,
final
we're supposed
draft
to
to
have it
go over.
tonight.
So,
Oh,
and the reason is because the contract expires at the end of October, and there's a 60-day review period for ecology
yes.
for the plan, and you start backing up
The timeline's
timelines.
getting tight.
That was why I was pushing for them to be done in May, and it didn't happen. So,
So, Matt?
Yeah.
Do we know the plan that they're working on is essentially been paid for?
Yeah.
And so, when that's done, and when we heard them, they talked to us, they had 3 plans going. They had, as you discussed it before, different approaches to this
freedom
thing.
of it, yeah.
And we weren't, and they were either, I'm not sure we thought they were gonna tell us the best plan. I had the impression they might expect us to look it all over and decide what the best plan is.
Yeah.
And so we were totally buffalo about this and blindsided. We didn't know where we were going. And so, since that's paid for, and when that's done and you aren't sure if it's should be completed relatively soon.
Yeah.
And then you'll review it.
Yeah.
And that is a relatively short process. You can review it.
Yeah.
And the expenses to the city, since Shelley commented, we're pleased to have your skill, but you don't think the costs are gonna be much more with this.
Well, that's what I was saying is, I want to review the plan, and if I have to do it without getting paid, I'll do that, because I'm concerned about the plan and want to make sure it's right for the town or the city, that it represents what you want and has the right option in it.
I think that,
So,
I think the council probably, I can't speak for the council, but I'm comfortable with you reviewing it, because we're gone this far, in for a dollar, we're in the same place.
Yeah.
We didn't want to start over, we were really concerned that they said they were getting up to speed and that was gonna take them a while.
Yeah.
And if they get it done and you review it and you check it off, if there's some cost to the city, it's probably still a good deal. Because we gotta get it done, but I hope that their plan, now, are you certain that their plan is gonna recommend a choice or they can still have three?
So the direction I pushed it to go, and there's a lot of background here that you're not getting, but I don't know if you're feeling like I may not have been a part of this project as much as I could have been. That's part of what I talked about. But when I set this out, there are financial aspects to the option and there's non-financial aspects to the option. And sometimes the non-financial aspects of the option are more important to a community than the financial aspects. If you said, I don't care what it costs, we want to discharge into Hangman Creek all year round and not have to worry about lagoons or irrigation or any of that, well, there's a cost to that. But if you decide that that's what you want to do, regardless of the cost, we could make that be the recommended option because that's the way you wanted it to be. That's not usually the way it goes. Usually dollars and cents makes the most sense. But so when I say presenting options, that's kind of what I mean. There's a process, and what I wanted to have presented to you was here are the options. Okay, we can do land application, we can do mechanical treatment, have it all be treated. We can do just storage and have that be an option, and have the dollars and cents with that, and lay out what all those things are, and have the documents so you guys can read through and see what those options are, without having a recommended option. Now, once you've gotten that information, you can make a decision for what you think is the best option. You know, you could go down and say dollars and cents is the most important thing to me, and that whatever the cheapest option is, that's what it is. You could say, I don't want to have to deal with the river keeper, so we're not going to discharge at all year round. We're going to be out of the river completely. We're going to land here, apply everything, and that's a decision you can make. But until you have all the information and can make that decision, once you have that information, then the plan was to come in and say, okay, you've got all the information about all the options. Let's walk through them and see what you decide is what you want to do and what you see as the best thing. And then that becomes the recommended alternative. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're the ultimate decision makers. The engineer is not the decision maker in this. They can make a recommendation about what makes the most sense financially, what makes the most sense, from a regulatory, but you have to make the decision about what you think the best option is. And so
Glenn, in their last presentation, there was a page that had a chart. I actually thought there was more than 3 options on there, but and it went through a lot of really great information, how much land would need to be purchased. Part of the difficulty was not everybody could see what was being looked at when it was being presented to us, and so hopefully we asked about making that better. But I lost my own train of thought here, picturing that. But we do have that. We just really need to walk through, and I guess what's the unclear part for us is the land acquisition part for those. There was we leaned over and pointed out each one showed how many hours of operating costs were involved. I think that was per day, right? Yeah. And and how much land. But that's really the piece we need. I guess that we should be saying this to Century West probably because you don't. But that's really what we need is we need that chart up there with underneath how much land and what those costs are going to be, and are those landowners that they're looking at. There were some maps that was very kind of unclear what they were speaking to, because then there was discussion of wetlands, and honestly, then there was talk about relocating it somewhere else. So. I guess you can just keep helping us streamline down, and if you haven't seen that chart,
I haven't seen it.
Maybe we could get that to you, and you can help clarify that for us, because there was some good information. It was just hard to follow it and know how to use it.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I haven't seen that.
As we go forward, Matt, you're going to be able to look at that, determine what's going to be the best route to go for us. From this point on, and then be more clarify a lot of that information for us.
Hopefully,
Because,
yes.
you know, that's the way you are.
Yeah.
And so I think with the city council, then when you go through that, pull that stuff up, and whether we have, it comes free or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you'll be able to clarify the 5 positions or 5 plants that are available and make a better understanding for everybody in the community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what I'm focused on is, you know, this plan is like a stepping stone to the next thing, which is the treatment plant design. And you don't want to stumble on this step. And so that's why, you know, even if I have to do it for free, I want to make sure that we get the right step in. Just as anecdotally, there was a facility plan in St. John. You've heard me talk about St. John a little bit. Well, in that facilities plan, you know, they got money for design and construction and, you know, everything for the plant. You know, they got money with ecology and CDBG. So we took off down the road. Another consultant did the facilities plan, just not Central West, not. So another consultant did the facilities plan. So we took off down the road on design and got in design, got to where we had like 80% design, getting ready to submit it to ecology, and ecology says, well, wait, in the facilities plan, it says you're gonna reduce I&I and do this other stuff before you even start design on the plan. And as we came in, it's like, well, the pieces of I&I reduction are identified in administrative order, and they're not gonna make a significant impact on the design of the plant. But they wanted to grind it completely to a halt and address these things in the facilities plan that were unclear or were a mistake, and I wouldn't say mistake, that were unclear or should have been taken care of in the planning process before the facilities plan got approved, before you went to design. That's what I'm trying to avoid here, I guess. I want to make sure that the plan lays out a clear outline of where you're going and that the council has understanding of what that plan is and what the eventual goal of the plant is.
And the plant really can't be designed until we pick one. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. You can't start design until you have an approved facilities plan. And so to get an approved facilities plan, we have to have a recommended alternative.
Now, has the environment changed as far as the federal government, as far as what they'll allow, what they won't allow, what they're requiring? Like they might say, well, we're not gonna worry about that right now. Maybe take a 4-year break. Are they just as restrictive as they were before? Or
That hasn't changed. That we're still marching down the same path on that because the ecology completed a receiving water study, and that identified what they intend to put in your next permit for discharge limits and what the available discharge period is and what the no discharge period is. That's not in your permit right now, but they've said, this is what's gonna be in your next permit. You need to plan for this. And that hasn't changed since 2021 or 2022. Can't remember when that study was.
have we figured out time frame yet? Has that changed any since you are now with them but separate?
Because this plan isn't done yet, and I'm concerned about it getting done. I have no control over it, but it's the reason it was due in October is because that's when funding for ecology starts to get allocated, and then a draft funding list comes out in January, and so we got to have that plan adopted by the end of the year to make sure we're on the list for ecology, because that's where you'll get your design money. You're already on what's called Table 12, or a small city, a small community. I can't remember. It's SCIPL is the acronym, but you're already in line for that funding, but they've delayed it for the last year because you weren't ready, because the facilities plan wasn't approved. So that's why it's critical we get it approved this by October, November, because then it will be, you can be on the list for funding next year.
Are some of these plans much more labor intensive than others?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say yours is out of the ordinary.
I mean, if one plant in Public Works has to put in all kinds of hours, that'll have an impact versus if they have one that's relatively straightforward.
Well, you already have a mechanical plant, and that's similar to what, I mean, there's kind of two options, I think. There's the mechanical treatment system, and then there's the lagoon treatment system. And the plan that they're preparing should identify the benefits or detriments or costs of each one. With
So-
part of that is man hours necessary to run the plant, so.
So with a mechanical plant, there's no doubt about it. Some of those things, we go with mechanical plant, some of those things due to cost and everything else, it's just gonna have to be eliminated down there and built, new ones.
Yeah. There are just some things that are old down there, like the
Yeah.
old lift station was old and it needed to be replaced,
Yeah.
so.
So,
But
that would, if that was the mechanical plant thing, that would then start looking at less land that we have to purchase, even though the plant would cost more. And so would ecology give us more money if we go mechanical, or we don't know?
it doesn't really matter. You're on this list, you get like prioritized funding because you're on this table 12 skippable list. And tried to do, they started out with a facilities plan cost, and they just did an estimate about how much it's going to be in the future. And so there's already funding in their minds about what they think you're going to need for funding for the plant and the design and all those things. But that's not limited. You're not limited to that. If it's more than that, they'll find the funds to put together because you're on this prioritized list. So.
So are we just kind of trying to go for funding this year, or is it going to be next?
Well,
year?
it goes in stages. So right now we're in the planning, the facilities plan phase. In the next year, what they would hope would be, or what our goal is, to get design funding for the next year. And so that would start in July and go, it's about a year for design. So maybe take a little longer. So maybe say July and bid it late fall 2027, which is a year later than what we were originally projecting. Because we were talking about being out to bid at the end of 2026, and now we're a year later. So
When does the Department of Ecology want us to have this completed?
the whole plant or the
Yes.
facilities plan?
The facility plan?
October is when,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, how about the whole,
They're more flexible about when that is, but I mean, it's kind of, once you start design and get funds for construction, they want it to be done within 5 years.
okay. That was my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Isn't Spokane having some problems now too, for discharge in the river?
Yeah, that's kind of where this all stems from, because Hageman Creek is a tributary to Latop Creek, and Latop Creek is a discharger to the Spokane River, and the Spokane River is where they started this whole, what's called total maximum daily load, TMDL. I don't know if you've heard that acronym, but that's the regulated city of Spokane, the city of Liberty, or not city, the Liberty Lake Sewer and Water District, what's the paper mill right there? Millwood, yeah. All of those, they were the first line that they cranked the screws down and brought the hammer to and said, you've got to clean up your discharge because you're polluting the river. And once they started that, then they kind of moved back up the tributaries. So.
Matt, I was asked today by a citizen, why don't we just pay the fines and not upgrade the sewer plant?
Well, I guess what happens is if you get fined and you ignore it, then you start to, I think Stephen would be responsible, and council and
Well,
members of the
they're saying
mayor.
pay the fines.
Yeah, well, what happens is once the fines start getting levied, and even if you pay them, if you continue to ignore them, you can all face jail time. they start taking people to jail.
You start with the council members and work around.
Well, they start with Steven, I think. Because he signs the DMRs every month.
Yeah.
And then I think they would,
Well, yeah, I just,
Yeah.
that's the question was asked me.
it becomes criminal offense instead of, a monetary offense.
And believe me, on some things with water, there've been some mayors that had to serve 6 months in the county
Yeah.
jail.
So
Because
it does, you can't just ignore it. You can't just pay the fine because then it becomes negligence. So,
Okay, well, now I know how
There you
to
go.
text him back.
So Matt, when do we think to see you again?
I'll come down next month too.
Okay, at this point, we need to accept the SWSME plan handoff to Matt Morford, right? Is that
So you want to make a motion to hand
Yeah.
out plan to city, Matt Holford for the city?
Yeah, he's gonna take the small water
Yeah.
management program.
And we talked, like I said, we talked to Century West about this. We talked with Port of Wayne County about this because they're paying this bill. Everybody's on board with this change. So,
Okay. I'll accept the motion.
I said,
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Great. Anybody want to do cards?
Oh, sure.
Do you have an office?
I'm just working on my house.
that's
for now.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephen, you're up. Doug?
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You still want a basketball Christmas?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just gotta save some for last year.
Well, thank you guys.
What do you got, bud? Thank you, Matt.
Look forward to continuing working with you guys. I really do care about this community and the people, so.
Thank you.
So, I just, wanted to come up and, shoot an idea at you guys. So during the floods in the wintertime, we have a problem with infiltration. A lot of towns do. I mean, it's something hard to avoid. But there's some things that me and Matt pinpointed, some manholes that are closer to the river surface than they need to be, and they're not watertight. So as soon as it crests over the manholes, you instantly have a pick hole or two that is allowing a constant stream of water through, which, doesn't seem like a lot, but it accounts for a lot, especially when you're getting more water from the whole city. So on this H.D. Fowler quote, it's for 10 bolted and gasketed watertight manholes, and then the riser for those manholes. My suggestion would be to purchase 10 of them. They're good for 14 psi, which doesn't seem like a lot, but what was it?
30 feet, so.
Yeah, 30 feet of water would have to go across it before you reach the 14 psi. So the areas that I would put those in, just so you guys can get eyeballs on it.
So what happened was this spring when
Yeah, right here.
the
So-
creek was way up high, we came down and talked, and we both went and looked at the manholes along the creek to see what was underwater and what wasn't. Because it was, when we actually looked, it was when the creek had come down a bit. So there was still some underwater, but there were some that weren't above, so.
So there's manholes all along here. There's basically like 4 down this section that parallels Water Street. And then there's about 3 over here. I would want to replace the one right by City Hall, because when the floodwaters got there, it basically was up to the door in City Hall. And then we all know that Seaman Road was completely flooded. And even though those manholes are below grade, they can still allow water infiltration through it. One of them's just like a skip of gravel over it, and the other one's probably about that much material over the top of it. So that's why I'm asking for 10 for now, is just to kind of knock these out and then use that as a good determining factor on, you know, is that cutting down on it? And, you know, if we don't have a flood, I can't really tell next year, but, you know, everybody says we're supposed to have a lot of snow, which means a lot of melt off, so we might have a flood.
Stephen,
So.
how are these manholes different than the ones that are on there now?
So these ones, the ring that goes around them, they have holes through them. So I'll basically be drilling into the cone of the manhole, and then putting either silicone or some kind of adhesive material around it, and then using what's called red-headed wedges that anchor into concrete, and then you anchor the lid down. So that creates a watertight seal in between the concrete and the ring, and then your lid would have a gasket on it, which would then be bolted down and have a gasket or a ring around it.
So you don't need air to filtrate through those manholes then? You don't need any kind of sort of ventilation through those manholes normally? Okay, and you're not planning on raising the level of them either? Like put a sonotube above them?
Some of them just can't get out.
You can do the adjustments on them, but the amount of adjustments that you would have to get, plus if we have like an ice break or anything like we had this year down by the walking bridge, if any ice or even hay debris gets and hits that riser, then you're instantly gonna receive a lot more water than you expected.
That's probably true.
So this is the best way, in my opinion, that we can keep the cone stable and then make it a watertight seal and not have, you know, like the stuff down here is raised just because of its being like our main through there, and the water level that's constantly going through there in the winter time. So these are raised, but I understand that those are kind of unsightly having them this high out of the ground.
But we had problems one winter when an ice hit one of them and it moved them.
So
Knocked it off.
Being up like that, they're not good, because the ones that go to the sewer plant, they were hit by big chunks of ice.
We had opened up there.
yeah. And me and Matt talked about the one right before it crosses right here, and possibly finding out a way to divert the water around it. So there wouldn't be any possibility of anything hitting it. But that's a future project. This one, and these two right here held together really well during this winter.
Can you put concrete buttons like they do in bridges now, so ships can't hit it and break the piers, so the bridge falls down? On some of those you mentioned, can you put anything like that?
You can, and it would just be a process of talking to the river keepers and getting permission and doing your shoreline management plan in order to do that.
Of course. That makes sense.
But yeah, that's what my plan with the 10 manholes.
So you're gonna do that this fall?
Yeah, would you be able to do it all this fall?
I have one, possibly two sewer projects coming up on the 25th. My excavator should be here on the 25th. And then after those are completed, and then we do some water meters while we still can, then we'll bounce back and do those manhole covers.
So how much are they gonna cost a piece?
So a piece in the quote is just over 400 for the whole, or for each one.
367 and 62. So I would.
What
Want a
budget?
motion for that?
What budget is this come out of?
That'd be so
And we have,
$4,298. Okay.
It's
but
too
we
big,
got
of- yes, but it's too big of an expense to just do it in a fast.
So I'll here accept the motion to approve the project. I make, okay, go ahead.
okay, you're on a roll.
I make a motion, we buy the needed material to update the manholes for the purpose of, this is going to improve the sewer plant eventually because it's high and high. So we purchased the material needed to do that.
Moved in second, Michelle. Okay. Any discussion? I've got one question. Why wasn't this done to start with? You can speak for the former engineering firm.
I think they specified, water type, I don't remember what they specified in the
Specs?
specs, yeah. One of the things we tried to do is we tried to move part of that line, the one that goes along and this wouldn't replace it, but those ones that are really tall, we tried to move that out into railroad and get away from there, but we couldn't get permission to cross the rodeo grounds because that's still owned by the railroad. So that kind of explains that. But on the lids, I don't have a good answer on
Most
why.
communities aren't used to having their manholes flooded every third year, are they?
Yeah, it's atypical, but some of them we haven't touched, but the ones in Seaman should have, I'm sure they were specified as watertight lids, but why they're not, I don't think they had gaskets.
Okay.
So I don't have a good answer, I'm sorry.
Stephen, do you know how much infusion of water there is that are going because of these manholes? A lot of water coming. Have you any idea how much that
That's
might
a
be?
very difficult calculation because I would have to go around and eliminate all the clay pipe that we still have in the ground that has infiltration through it, and basically any seepage that we have. I mean, we still have manholes that are brick and mortar. So you imagine brick and mortar in a circular shape going all the way up, and it's probably older than I am, and you're gonna get a lot of infiltration in it.
Do we have a lot of clay pipes still out there?
I don't know a percentage, but I still run into them on a very
Consistent.
basis. And then I also run into a lot of patchwork. So like just an example, like behind the business district, it goes clay, white PVC, green PVC, back to white PVC, back to clay, and it's just all patched together. And so
I believe it.
Just like Christmas every day, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, I was just, that sounds like a good plan.
Okay, so we did pass that, correct? We did vote on it, okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. All right, so next page. Mr. Barker and Miss Overton, would you like to speak, please?
So I'm just here to give you guys a little update. You might have heard a little bit about the Community Heart and Soul Foundation. I know Kathy Houston was working on getting that started last year, but it didn't get continued due to some health issues she was having. Eliza approached me about taking over that position. So we have got the ball rolling on all of that. We had our first official meeting. We've been working on collecting a team to kind of coordinate that. They call it core team. So it's just people that help out, volunteer. We've got about 12 people that are interested in that right now. So the next meeting is September 12th at 5:30 at the community center. And you guys are welcome to come to that just to get more information. It's going to be kind of a workshop going over what they do, what the possibilities are. Oakdale has been working with this foundation for the last couple of years, and they're working on making some renovations to the old mill building. It seems like the possibilities are kind of completely up to us, what we want to do. We collect data from as many citizens as we can in Tekoa to know what they love about Tekoa, what they'd like to see improved. And then we get a general consensus of what the most answered things are, like say a dog park or a gazebo at the Gymkhana grounds, or they asked us if we had a community center or a pool. So they've obviously do those kinds of things. Last year, they gave out $10 million between 20 communities. So it can be a decent amount of money. I'm hoping we can maybe use some of that to help out with the pools and the parks because they are having issues with levies and such like that, and it would be a real shame to lose the pool. So hopefully we can help out with that in some way. It's really exciting process. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. But they just wanted me to come down and kind of let you know what's going on. So we'll be applying for the first grant. That just kind of gives us money to get the ball rolling. And then at that point, we take sounds like about a year to collect the data, make the report, and then we submit an application specifying what we want to do, how much those things will cost, and how we're going to get there. And then they grant us the money, and they will also help us set up an endowment fund for our town as well. So it's all very positive. It's coming at a great time. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. The other
Thanks for stepping into that.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, I love doing stuff for the town anyways, so this is just perfect fit and it works well, and I'm really excited to do it. So
So you get the funding, and then you decide there's a project that needs to be done in the community, and those funds that you have, grant funds, could you apply to those? Is that what we're talking about here?
So the original grant that comes in, it's about $30,000. That's just to help fund like our travel, meetings. I am the coordinator, so that is a paid position in that as well. So that pays that money. Our town to do this is required to come up with a total. It's a $10,000 match, but that's split up over 2 years. So it's $5,000 each year. But that amount can be deducted from by, like if Donovan donates catering for one of our meetings, whatever that would cost, we take that off that amount. Every time we use the community center, we write down what that would cost, that comes off that amount. So we can deduct a lot of expenses just by what we're doing around town and get that down to a very minimal amount. So that original grant of $30,000 is to get us through the process of collecting the data, getting the report together. We can, sometimes people go down to like the fair and set up a booth and stuff like that. It's just to get you through that. And then once you get your data collected, then you apply to what's called the Innovia Foundation. So the Innovia Foundation runs this corporation, the Community Heart and Soul Foundation. And they like to give money to small communities and help them out. And it's just all about positivity and bringing the community together. That's what it's focused on. So really positive, really exciting. I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome thing for our town.
Where do they get their money from?
The Innovia Foundation, I believe it comes from the government. It's a nonprofit organization kind of thing. So it's a 501c3. So that funding comes in through there. It was started actually the same year that Spokane had the World's Fair. The 4 guys who put together the World's Fair, their 4 wives started the Innovia Foundation. And so it's grown and grown from there. And it's most Washington and Idaho is where they work with like 20 counties total. It's about 10 counties on either side of the panhandle and right into Washington there. So yeah, it's a really, really cool thing. I hadn't heard about it until we found out about it, and we're kind of learning together. But that's what the workshop's for, coming up on the 12th. And we're going to have a little bit of dinner. And so yeah, anybody that wants to come to that is welcome to. Yeah, so that's it for that, unless anybody has any other questions.
September, that's the 12th of September?
Yes, at 5:30 at the old JC Club.
Where?
The community center or the old JC Club.
Oh.
And regarding the old JC Club, I want to possibly start hosting a trivia night once a month or like every 6 weeks or so. I think it would be really fun. I posted about it on the Tekoa page. There's a lot of interest in it. My question for you is, could we do it at the discounted rate, the nonprofit rate, just rent it out for 4 hours? There's not going to be any alcohol or anything like that. It's just going to be come in, we hang out, we leave. They come, they eat, they leave.
I don't see why not. I mean, it's whole community.
Yeah, and I think we'll charge like $5 a head to get in, and that way we can have like a little prize fund for the team that wins, and then we'll have a little money that we can set aside to like buy snacks and soda or a sound machine, or just stuff we might need to get that put together. But I think,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Would your group then be responsible like for the cleanup of each time?
Yes,
So,
and-
how with the deposit, holding the deposit on that, or I don't know when Whitney was in there, she was doing the aerobics. I don't know how we worked, what contract we worked out, but I know we gave her some leniency on how often she had to put a deposit down and stuff. Can we do something similar in this situation?
For nonprofits / community groups, we don't take a deposit.
Right.
And as you guys know,
And then for the cleanup part of it, you
Then
have
they're
to go
responsible for that, we still have to check.
check
And then,
it.
well, our standard policy for everyone is that if there's something to be done, we try to call them first. And so that's what we would do if there was some issue.
and I have a cleaning business too, so I'm happy to clean it. And to tie into that also, that is something we could also possibly deduct from that $5,000 community expense when like we have our meetings or events up there. I wouldn't obviously charge for it, but I could just say this is what I would have charged for it, and that could come off of that amount too. So anything we can claim against that to get that number down is good. But yeah, if that's okay, we're gonna have the first one September 27th. It's a Saturday, 6 p.m.
So trivia,
Trivia.
talking,
Yeah,
27.
yes, yes, and then we'll do one close to Halloween and maybe have a little costume contest or something.
Question, is there a town close by that's had one of this funding and project completed as an example?
For the community heart and soul.
Yeah.
So Oakdale has been a part of that for the last couple of years. Pomeroy is a part of it currently. I think Toulouse is in it as well. And that's part of what we do is we will go around and kind of talk to these other communities and find out what they've done, how it's been useful for them, so that we can kind of take that and apply it to our situation too. But Oakdale is using it to do all the renovations they're doing on the old mill, and I don't know if their plan is to turn that into a community center. I think that's what I heard.
Commercial, I think they're hoping to bring in some commercial type things in there.
Right, so, and that's gotta be a fairly extensive process too, so it sounds like, I mean, I haven't been given like an exact number of like, we can give you this much money, but I think it's kind of just depends on what you wanna do.
I know we switched from the trivia night, but I will say this about Innovia, we work a lot with them through the library, and they're really great for coming into communities and helping to, I think wasn't it Innovia that helped with the theater, the money for some free movies. They went into communities that had that, and they've done a lot through the library for programs. So they really are great wanting to resource programs with our own people. So
yes.
But back to the trivia night, do we need to vote to? So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve using or giving the nonprofit rates for the trivia nights.
I'll second that.
March 2nd, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I
I need the answers. So now you gotta come and, now that you're a community group, you get to come and report at council meetings.
If you're lucky.
You can clean up first, right? All right, thanks, Alex. Okay. Dylan, you're up?
Yeah, my turn. So basically I gotta ask for a variance extension on living in my fifth wheel up there. House ain't done yet, but we're getting there. That roof is, kind of taking my time with that because it sucks. And I'm glad I'm not a roofer, but we're thinking we're gonna be in there next summer. Possibly the beginning of next summer, if the ways things go the right way. At the latest would be the end of next summer. So
So you need another 6 months?
I need another 6 months, then I'll have to come back to do it another 6 months. But
I'll just track the wood and then those be 1 6 month. And
so
You've been up on the roof, Alex?
I have.
she was
I've been helping.
actually she was slamming shingles for me while I was nailing down.
Okay.
She was not too bad. I will give her that.
You better say that.
Yeah.
Okay, any thoughts on that,
Sit
council?
right here.
I make a motion that we give them a 6-month variance.
Okay.
On that.
Second?
Second.
Pete, got it. Second. Any discussion?
Well, I just want to say it's obvious that you are interested.
Yeah.
And looking at it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
And then I got one more thing. It's good news and bad news, but good news is Alex is 1 year in remission with cancer. The bad news with that is me and her have talked about it with what I have going on. I'm gone 4 months a year in season with work, and then I'm building a house. My parents just bought a place. Turns out I'm building a second house too now. I wasn't really ready for that. So with that, I don't have any time necessarily to spend with her. And now that we're this far into remission, we'd like to start having kids. And I'd like to get that done and accomplished because she just turned 30. She's getting older.
I approve that joke.
Yeah. Yeah. And
We allow you permission to do that.
basically, as you all know, I'm running for city council, but at this point, I think it's best for me and what I want to do with my family that I back out of that race. That way I can focus on that for these next few years. Is I just need to get that done. And then maybe in 2 years again, I would look into something when I have a little more time. But as of right now,
You won't have more time with kids.
well, at least I won't be building a house and have kids. I'll have kids, as the house is done there. And then, so yeah, I just want to let everybody know, and I'm sorry if I let anybody down, but I think that's what's best for me and my family and my future family, God willing. And I think that's what needs to be done. So thank you.
I think you're right, it takes much more time than you think.
What's that?
It takes much more time than you think you've got city council.
Yeah.
So I think your decision is probably good.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Tim?
Hello, Tim BK, JEB Engineers. The item is to give the group an airport update. So we started, the construction notice to proceed was issued July 21st. And, contractor again selling construction. So I guess the information in front of you is for consideration on a kind of a change of condition, change order for the runway. So we were able to, the design was to mill and mix the asphalt with the base, shape and pave. That was the design intent, and that's what we went forward with. So what happened when we milled the asphalt was the edge closest to the farmer field is unstable. It got unstable with construction activity and moisture sensitivity in the soil. So that's the sections, typical sections and costs in front of you are to basically fix that. So I've been working with Mike to find additional funding, and we think we found a path forward with the funding through WashDOT Aviation, and then also doing some kind of line item exchange, if you will, taking some of the pavement section down and kind of replacing, there's two proposals in front of you, one to replace with cement, soil cement, and then the other is to scarify the subgrade and then roll it, compact it, and come back with gravel and pave over. So those are kind of the things in front of you. I guess, yeah, I mean, that's the gist of the change. I don't know, Roy, Mike, did you want me to expand on any of the other things? I mean, I can we've had ongoing discussions over the last 3 weeks pretty intensely regarding kind of what happened.
Mike indicates that the costs are gonna be internal and there will be an increasing cost to the city with these changes.
These changes are gonna lead to a match of roughly 3,000. So that's the match on, I think the total change is, it's in.
The additional money that was not coming in.
Correct. Yeah, so WashDOT is, here, I'll just give you the exact numbers. Washdot Aviation will supplement this project with $56,764.87 to bring the total grant up to $750,000. And on that $56,764, the city's match is it's just under $3,000.
I can help you with that, Ken, if you like. DOT per grant has a maximum allowable of $750,000. When we originally went for this, we got $690,000, give or take. So that left the $57,000 there. They've agreed to provide that to us, and a couple of good things happened. The Port of Whitman gave us a little extra for our match last year, so that left enough to cover this in the budget. Because we didn't get approved for a project this year, we've got this year's match available. So this is all covered within already funds we already have on hand. And my concern, if we start delaying this, I'd like to get council to approve this, please. The longer we delay, the less fuel sales we have, the less access to airplanes. And then we're going to get up against a weather issue where if the weather turns wet, we can't pave it, then we're closed for a year. And our fuel sales run at a high point of about 20K a year, a little less than that a couple other years. But in order to maintain that, we've got to have a runway. And if we can go there, we can continue to bring transient aircraft in for fuel. The only place they can buy fuel right now is either here, when we get it fixed, Spokane or Pullman. And a lot of these guys don't want to fly into Spokane or Pullman because of congestion. They like coming here.
True.
So if we can keep building that, and then in conjunction with that, when we get the runway finished and the fuel system, that helps the Port of Whitman with their project up here. Because now they have an airport that's close and their potential clients can fly in and fly out. So it's kind of a hand in hand, and if we delay very long, I just don't see us winning. And as I say, we have this money available to us that was left over, which is a good thing. So that's where I'd like to go, is have the council approve that resolution.
So is there an additional cost or an additional loan amount
No.
at the end? No, because of all of that.
Right,
So-
all that's done.
So there's really no reason not to.
There's no money
approve this.
coming out of the city of Tekoa except for this, which I have on hand. Yeah.
Okay, so we want to approve the resolution
I would motion to approve it.
Second.
25-04, correct? Right?
Yes.
I'll second that.
And the actual amount is 29,816. If I'm
Yes.
kind of interesting, we had the DOT guy do the calculations and he got it wrong.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed, same sign. Okay, do you have a invoice we need to approve too?
No, that would be, so what I will provide for the group is like the exact change order with the items, replacing items and the total dollar amount. So I don't know if that was gonna be leading to like an additional meeting, or kind of a special meeting just to approve that. I mean, this has been approved, but I don't have to the penny number, so I need to organize that and show you. We're gonna remove this item, this item, this item, and we're gonna add these items. Your total net will be consistent with what we just talked about, but.
This is the last invoice we still need to.
We need to approve the
Oh, that
last
last one
invoice,
was okay, yeah.
unless you don't care about that.
No, that'd be great.
You want to go home tonight?
Yeah, I did, yeah, well, my boss cares about that.
Okay.
You know, it's another month.
So the last invoice, you'll see that, that's a couple pages earlier. I believe it's, the total amount is $23,529.80, correct? Okay, I will accept the motion to approve invoice number 187113.
I would make a motion to approve that invoice.
Okay. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mark seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you.
Just really quickly, is there a method, I guess, I hate to do a special meeting just for this, but I think, is that available? Because we're gonna want to issue this change and get the contractor going on the solution.
Let us know and we'll
Yeah,
we'll
I can get
schedule-
everything to you quickly, but again, if we were waiting until September, then we're up
Yep.
against some weather.
We need you to roll.
We might be up against some weather, so
Let
I
us
would have
know.
had it tonight, but I just wasn't sure, in terms of, you have some alternatives in front of you, and so it's like, well, what do we want to do? And I'm taking a page from that, it was kind of a dollars and cents driven project, and that's what you have in front of you, and then again, there's some decisions here, so we'll put forth the decision, the alternative, and get it all lined out in dollars and cents and provided to you
Gotcha.
for consideration. Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Matt, if you want to follow Tim home, he's pretty good at dodging the deer.
I'll probably head out.
Okay. All right, great, thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
We'll see you next month.
Take care.
We did the resolution carb loan for the fuel pump, Mike.
As most of you are aware of, our fuel pump is not working real well. The last repair bill, if I'm correct, was between $2,900 and $3,000. And the time that pump's down, people that are flying in here for fuel don't know it's not working. We have no way to tell them that they can't get fuel, they leave and they never come back. And a lot of our fuel sales are transient. It's people flying in, they don't, again, want to go to Fellsfield or go to Pullman. So I went and got a bid from Coeur d'Alene Service Station, and it's 43,000, and I can't remember the exact number. And they will hold that bid until for that quote for the end of October. In the meantime, there's a program called CARB. It's through Washington DOT, and it's a low interest. I think I mentioned this before. It's a low interest 2% loan. It's good over 20 years. We can actually defer part of it if we wanted to, and it's available to us at the airport. They even amortized it out, and there's two amortization schedules here. And the one that we want to use is the one that shows no deferment. And it comes out to about $220 a month out of the airport funds. Well, with the money we have from our ground leases, the money we have from our fuel sales, the airport can self-sustain itself and make that payment without coming back to the city for money.
So if we sell some of the shop or whatever, we could pay that thing off.
If we want to, yeah, there's no penalty for prepayment.
Okay.
Your retirement system is available. It's a good deal for Tekoa. It's going to be a reliable system for who knows how long, but it's going to help us attract that business. It's going to make the airport grow and even more self-sustaining.
And last question, are they the only ones that can do this kind of project? Are they kind of unique in that regard?
The Coeur d'Alene Service Station, they're the only ones that responded.
Okay, that was my question. And they're
I tried 2 or 3 different people. These were the only guys kind enough to send me a quote.
All right, that's my figure.
So Mike, you have until October to,
I haven't submitted the loan request yet. I have until whenever. There's no deadline. But the bid's only good till the end of October. The CARB board meets October 16th. So we need to be in prior to that, so that then the board can say yay or nay. And from what I understand, talking to the director, because it's a relatively small amount, that's not an issue. And once they approve it, then we can go ahead between then and the end of October to put it in.
and you have enough within your own funds, is what I'm just making sure I'm reiterating here, but you have enough within your own funds to make the monthly payments?
Yes.
Without, because, I mean, right now, as a city, we're carrying over $5 million of scheduled debt, so I just don't want to keep adding to that.
And I wouldn't even come to the city and ask for money if I didn't know the airport couldn't take care of this.
How many gallons are we selling a year out there, Mike?
I don't know what the gallonage is. I know what thanks to Eliza, I know what the dollars are. The high was 20,000 and some dollars.
Total.
Total for a year. Then one was 19 something. We've dropped off a little, of course, because the airport's closed and we've had pump problems. So the first payment on this loan is going to be November of next year without deferment. So we're going to be able to go out here and I can go to Washington Airport Management Association, and there's a couple of other associations, and tell the world, hey, we're open, we got fuel, and we can start attracting more business, and hopefully we can increase our sales.
I'm gonna guess we go through between 6,000 and 8,000 gallons a year out there. Seems like we've filled it twice.
Depends on the year, but
Yeah, and it would make about, we're at 75 cents a gallon.
Well, and the downside too is the cost of repairing the pumps that's there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not gonna take too many more times.
$200 just to get them out,
Yeah.
$500 just to get it down here from Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
I'd go up and get them for that. But, okay, so
So I would like the council to approve me submitting the loan.
accept the motion.
Make a motion for that.
Second, Shelley, second, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, the city shop and Old City Hall possible sale. You guys see some bids? I don't,
I didn't include like all of the real estate background, et cetera, from the agent who did the market analyses, but the market analyses with some of the comps and suggested sale price for each of the two buildings is, first one is for the Wi-Fi shop, the Old City shop, and then the second one's for the Old City Hall. To look at those, and so they are getting close to a year old. And the agent said that the market has gotten a little bit soft, but that they should be pretty close. She did say that the commercial buildings are much harder because they really, the price depends so much on the demand in the particular location. But she was able to find some decent comps for the analysis that she did. So,
so what then?
no, they were from different places around the county. Yeah.
And the one is occupied, there's so they'd be someone motivated to buy one building.
Perhaps.
Yeah, but I was having concerns, it seems still, with the way markets are, it seems like these prices are low. Looking at the valuation of the real estate, I'm not sure I can justify that. I just need to be reassured that these prices, that what the value is accurate. I hate to sell them out cheap for the city, especially with all the requirements we have and all the needs we have in the city. So how do we reassure ourselves that is the fair market value?
Go find another, go get some more bids, Pete.
We need a realtor to look at it as well, does that mean anything different?
That's what this gal was.
She
This
is?
was a realtor.
She was a realtor.
Okay.
And I could be wrong, but if I remember right, I think she quoted, when I talked to her a year ago, it was between $75,000 and $125,000 for each property. In that range, because I don't think she went into either one of them. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, she might got into Wi-Fi, but into the city shop, but. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so the Wi-Fi router shop recommended listing price was $127,000.
That's pretty close.
And then the recommended listing price for the Old City Hall was $102,000.
Pretty close, yeah.
So we would be visiting with a real estate agent, how do we determine it?
I am based on what
That's
I
a
read
question
over
for
there.
Eric. I mean, I know that we can sell them
Yeah,
at
okay, so
fair
what's
market
it-
value, but I don't know the ins and outs of that. So,
So typically you surplus it, and then in the surplus, you talk about the method, you can do a bid on it, or you can do a private sale. If you have a willing buyer and they have a fair market value now, you could find someone to purchase it for that much. You could do that.
How much leeway do we have on that price?
Well, not much, because, I mean, the town does it because you don't want to go under fair market value when you're selling it.
I would agree.
Risking jail time?
No, I'm not risking jail time.
So if you were to, like, are we able to list it or do we have to do this ourselves?
I mean, typically, you could, well, it's up to you guys. I guess you could list it, but then you're looking at, yeah, you're looking at like closing costs and stuff like that. And
How much?
yeah, typically when I've done them, it's usually you surplus it and you put it out for bid and, in the highest bid one.
Yeah, if you don't put it.
You have a minimum
Yeah,
or
the
so-
minimum.
Yeah, the minimum bid is gonna be 127, whatever the fair market value is. And you can either accept or reject all of them,
What happens if, say, your bid is, your floor is 127,000, but you don't get anything, maybe you get 3 bids between 90 and 100,
Yeah, you just reject them all.
just, okay.
And the other problem is, say you get bids and the person that's in it now is low. So, and that person, somebody else buys it. So what happens to the person occupying that business?
Can we offer it to the occupant
That's the other
first?
Actually, it would go
Is that
until the end
fair?
of their lease that you said.
Yeah, well, as long as, if the occupant's willing to purchase it for that amount, I mean, the city just wants to make sure it's gonna be, it surpluses it first, it's no longer good for city use, and it's getting fair market value for it. So as long as you're doing that, then it's,
So you can give them first right of refusal.
well, it's not a first right of refusal, whatever method you do, whether, if it's direct sale, it just has to be for fair market value, and if it's a bid, then it just this is the highest bid, it's gotta be added above fair market value.
So would it be reasonable for us to get another couple of appraisals? So
Well,
that
I
we
don't
could-
think so. I mean, if she said, well, you got one done a year ago, and if the realtor said that's pretty much what it is, I think that's a good basis to say what it is, and it saves you the cost of getting another one.
We could put a higher rate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you want it the highest, you put it up as you want it. And now everyone
You
knows.
also want to
that-
sell it too.
Yeah, but usually, I don't know, usually when cities sell property, they either plan to bid or they already have there's already someone's approached them that they have it in mind. Because otherwise, I don't know, because when you get a realtor, then you still have to get into, okay, who's gonna pay the costs, and, typically I was advised if they're gonna purchase it, they should have the closing costs with it too. It's because I'm advocating for the city.
Sure. I hope. And that would come to the occupied, but then the other one, which is not occupied, is that gonna be handled the same way? Then you put that out for bids on the second one? Because there's no.
I think you could both of them. The one that's occupied, I guess if you ask the person, I don't know if he has a lease with it or something, they would just be subject to that lease.
What's the lease situation? How long is the lease?
Year to year,
Year to year.
yep, and if either party wants to cancel it, I believe it's 60 days notice,
I mean, it's a great time for business there for sure.
January to January.
And I guess the real question is that clear the fair market value?
Clearly it must be.
I would hope so. I mean, real estate's so goosey.
Well, if anything drops below what we say is the bottom, we reject it.
Okay, I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
I think it would be hard if you list it with the real estate agent, in addition to the cost, with these things, it's always back and forth. And it'd be really hard to just every meeting you have to approve it, or call a special meeting to approve it, disapprove it, to be a little harder that way versus if you just had one method
Okay,
that you could do.
all right. So what do you recommend?
I would recommend you to put it up for bid, or you get a direct sale for the fair market value.
I would just say direct market
Direct market value to the occupied one, but the other
And
one,
the other one put on out for bid. We didn't really do it right now,
okay.
unless somebody knows somebody.
And don't,
And if it's too high. The first step is to surplus that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the surplus resolution, you can put the form of how you're gonna sell it as well. I can do that.
Yeah, that would be solved easiest.
You pull something together for us.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are pretty much concurred that we are gonna surplus the building. Dave, you wanted.
Yeah, I hate to see the old city hall, but then that's just my opinion. But the thing is that we've got things that we need to have done. the cost of the buildings would help get things done. I think the library's gotta get fixed, doesn't it?
Even if we just the insurance costs off the buildings would be a help.
Don't we need a motion to make this, approve the sale?
Yeah, you guys could, do a motion to surplus the buildings, and then the occupied building would be sold by direct sale, and then the unoccupied building would be put up for bid.
I'll make that motion. Just exactly what you said.
I'll second.
Would you please repeat that?
Pete, Mr. Maker of the motion, you want to repeat that?
I was hoping that the air was,
Do a resolution to surplus, the city shop and the old city hall. And city, what one is occupied?
The old city shop.
Okay, so old city shop would be direct sale. And the city hall would be by bid, by sealed bid.
that's exactly what my bid.
And we can turn it down if we don't want it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You can turn it down and call for new bid. Yeah, you don't have, just as up for bid doesn't mean you have to.
Been moved and seconded.
Thank you, Eric, for this.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion passes. All right, formally accept the attorney contract with, and the budget for the union negotiations.
So, because we have a special meeting,
We could do
the
that.
second-class cities cannot accept contracts.
Right.
And so we need to just have a formal, someone move that we accept Anthony Menke as the official attorney and with a budget of $10,000 before he starts.
I'll make a motion in that regard that we
It's
accept
been
that.
moved.
Yes.
Dave second. Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
See, I got Dan and Mike against it. Okay. Motion passes 5-2. Okay. Are we on Crosby Street, Dave? What do you got?
Yeah, I had somebody call me about Crosby Street, the RV that's on Crosby Street. So I drove up Thursday night and just drove by and looked at it. And they have an awning that's over the property. And so, and it is over the property. And and then now that I noticed, I thought we were supposed to have, when people like Dylan, they're progressing. And this guy's, for a year now, has not progressed in anything. And,
You're talking about the one we just.
We just approved this one.
yeah.
Right.
And so he hasn't done anything on it, and I thought we made a rule now, it needed to progress for us the extension. And so I thought, well, we could cut the extension that we already made, but according to Eric, we can't do that, so we got to fill that out. So I think that, with that situation right there, if he hasn't done anything before the run out of the next one, I think December, and somewhere in that area, that we not extend it anymore.
That'll be a council decision.
Yeah, that was my thing that I noticed on that, so.
If I remember right, it was a financing issue and a supply issue with the particular home that he wanted. I mean, he had some reasons why this didn't move as fast as we hoped.
But the thing is whether
I
I
had the foundation, I thought you had the house kind of, it's a couple houses down from the church, right?
Right.
Yeah, I drove by that too.
there's nothing going there.
Yeah.
So what does the ordinance state? Or what do
Well,
they have to
so
do?
you can live in a camper for a month with no services, for 6 months with services if you're making progress toward a home, which their progress has been in trying to get financing. And then you have to get a variance to go beyond that, which they have done twice. They're asking the second variance was recent.
A month ago, maybe?
Ish.
Ish, yeah.
So what about the awning that's over the other person's property? Can we ask them to not do that? Because you wouldn't like an awning sticking across your property.
I have asked them to bring that in
It's
before we
like-
can ask them again.
It's like the
It's 1 foot. And, on one corner, it's 1 foot, but still, it's the
I know.
person's property.
I know.
So, You're the mayor, so you talk.
Well, that'd be my, oh, I guess we still have a code enforcement officer. So, yeah, that'd be my code enforcement officer.
Go there.
Talk to him.
I mean, they're right on the edge. I mean, I understand their situation, but I mean, they're not long and they've got nothing done. And now they're having an on with the neighbor.
Well, if you remember what that lot looked like before, they've done a lot. Good. That used to be on our annual cleanup list.
It is, but they haven't done anything to start putting a building in, even if it's a mini,
That's why they came back in and got it.
because it's an RV.
And got an extension and the council approved it.
So I think the awning over the building is probably a civil trespass issue that doesn't really involve the town or involve ordinances. I think the really only thing the town really has to be involved in is like whether they're making progress or not. And obviously, by the end of this extension, they're not making progress. I think it seems to me the decision would be pretty simple.
We'll see what happens in December.
Yeah, that could be a bear pulling that thing out in December, couldn't it?
We'll have to look at it.
Well, I mean, you're right. There needs to be some serious movement. Yeah.
But I think that if we took a consensus, it sounds like the council isn't very thrilled about extending that if they have done nothing by December. If they go at December,
That'll have to be a decision at that point, right?
well,
But before then, could you know, what if?
maybe they should know that if nothing's happened by December, that probably the extension won't be approved unless we need to do it now, so they would know. I mean, how long do you continue?
I think they've been communicated that there needs to be some progress made.
Hope so.
Correct?
Yes, I could send a formal letter saying, you know, your variance has been extended until the date of extension, and it is unlikely that we will get a further extension.
Okay, that's fair. So you don't say that we didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, that would be a fair one. Okay, repairing plan.
The Century West, the SMS.
We did approve both.
No, that's different.
That's different than the
Yes.
original.
So there is a request for when Matt was working on the small water system management program. Initially, there were some costs that were incurred with that, but he was still a Century West, and that needs to be approved. So that is in here.
Yeah, sorry about that. And the drill is that we pay it and then we get
And then we
reimbursed.
get reimbursed for the port.
Reimbursed for the port. Okay? Got it?
So you need a motion on that?
Yep.
And then make a motion, we pay Century West, I think it's 13, whatever the cost, 13,000 something.
Yep.
And that gets that straightened out.
Gotcha.
Second.
Mike seconded, discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Oh, thanks for that catch, I'm sorry I crossed that out. All right, Mike. Short-term memory.
That just does, the port's paying for that though, right?
Yes.
So that's not coming out. of our
No,
port.
we pay it and then they reimburse us.
Can't beat that.
Okay, ma'am, the repairing planning alongside Park Street.
Okay, so, we've had some discussions with Department of Ecology and Pine Creek Conservation District. And you're aware of some of that when they did the
Shoreline man.
thank you, shoreline management plan. And one of the things that came out of that process is they were, Pine Creek Conservation District was asking in particular about riparian planting along Hanging Creek. So eventually, the Department of Ecology would like to see all of the Hanging watershed, as you know, as much as possible done to it to deal with some of the pollution issues. And so right now, what we're seeking for a riparian planting project is just where the city owns some land right here, right in here. So this section. So we would be, it would be a grant through the Department of Ecology, and it would be for planning and design in the first phase, and then that would be the only section of actual planting that happens. The reason it needs planning and design is because we've got Little Hangman that comes through here and then meets up with Hangman Creek. So eventually, the idea would be to do as much riparian planting along the stream as possible. So this would be just phase one, and it would take a landscape architect to do some of the planning for all of that. But then Pine Creek Conservation District can put together the bids, et cetera, for the actual work that would be done in the different phases. So what they need and what we need to go ahead with the grant would be an okay from the council to do this section of riparian planting, since the city owns that. And I don't know if any of you saw it, but when we had the flooding this last year, this section in here was pretty devastated. So that would be all planted
So
with
we
things
got a
that
grant,
hold
but
it.
do we have how much we get paid?
Nothing. There's no match. And the Hangman Creek watershed is very high priority and will be for probably at least another decade.
I haven't seen no progress on any of the stuff we've done for east.
So, well, I'm sure, you know, like those little plants, they're this big, right? You can't even see them when they first go in. But if you've seen the riparian planting projects that go along the creek that runs between Moscow and Pullman, you know, I mean, now they're big, right? You can see what has happened, but it looked like nothing for a few years.
So the
But
putting,
that's, the idea is that it wouldn't cost the city anything, and it would be a good test pilot.
I got one question. If they have extra time and extra trees or whatever, you know where the bridge is where you cross the Oaksdale?
Yes.
And where those, that little spot right in there by the railroad, between the railroad and the bridge? They mowed it one time and the pansies all over. Because if they could put that, if we start putting trees into that, that would eliminate eventually the tansy after a while.
Well, so the next phase, and actually have already contacted some of the private landowners on this section down through here. And they are very happy to come and talk, of the ones I've been able to get a hold of. So part of the process would be trying to get as many of the landowners together as possible to see if they would be okay with ecology doing that planting on their land, right? Because some of it is down by the creek, and most of their usable land that they work with on a daily basis is up high. So that's one thing, and then it changes as the creek moves through town, and so it's going to be a different situation for every owner.
So the piece that we're talking about right there, that they moved for tansy, and I noticed in the last couple of days, it's getting about that high again. Could, Stevens, you mow that again before it seeds up?
Yeah, I think
Because we are getting ahead of the tansy in town, and that helps out a lot to mow that.
The idea is when it cools down, we're gonna try to hit it with some spray. to-
Really? Okay, boy, I mean, we've been gaining, you know, so.
No, he did it. I was just gonna mention to him this spring to knock it down, and then I came in the next day and it looked like a bomb had gone off in there.
It looked better though.
And that's part of what ecology and Pine Creek is advocating, is part of this is it's them theirs to control the weeds, to help the plants that are there to get established. You know, so we'll see. I mean, it's a new project, it's a new system. Their test, you're right, Dan, the test strips we've seen have not been, but it's just been a year or two, so we'll see.
I just heard, 85% of the trees out there got washed out anyway.
Right. Well, 15 left. Right? 15%, yeah, okay.
So we need a motion
To allow the riparian planting.
The grant.
I will, a motion to allow this.
Moved.
Second.
Mark second, okay, great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, great. Okay, announcements and reports. Eesh. Got very little, nothing. Yeah.
Saw something the other day that's
I'm sorry.
on Sheridan, up on top by where Barricott used to live. We live there now. Just take that sign down that used to be the old arena, said arena pointing, and it's no longer, you can't even see the arena. I don't know why, I just noticed it the other day and it just bugs me now.
Don't drive by there.
Yeah, there's loading.
Okay. Okay, March?
No.
Sure.
I noticed the other night that when we had the meeting, that there's a lock from the community center to the theater. Why is that lock there?
To prevent people from going back and forth when they're not allowed.
Okay, is that unlocked when the theater is in use so that the theater people can use the restrooms? Because that was the main reason why those bathrooms were installed.
They have the code.
Who has the code?
The theater has the code.
Okay.
So whoever, not going on that, so whoever rents the theater out, they have the code too.
No, whoever rents the theater does not, and that's partly why the lock is there, is because there was a lot of unauthorized back and forth in there that was causing issues with, people not getting their cleaning deposits back all the way because we didn't even know who was in there and stuff was happening. So the theater board has the code and they can use it and they can unlock it if there's like events that involve both facilities. But just if someone just happens to be in the theater, they can't come into the community center.
Because the thing is, we gotta be careful for that is, if somebody's using the restrooms handicapped, and they may not be in a wheelchair or whatever, but those stairs are pretty steep.
Yeah.
And the city can be facing a little bit of
Yeah,
liability.
we had an issue.
Oh, you did?
We had an issue a couple of years ago, yes.
If there's an event, it's usually open.
So how do they go about that then? I mean, I know the theater board has the code. So anytime they have something there, they should open that door.
It should be open.
And to use that bathroom.
That was the idea.
Okay.
But if they do open it, somebody's gonna have to respond for cleaning the restrooms if they're used.
Well, that's where the theater board is in
Right,
place.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to take care of it. And I know that was, as Elijah said, sometimes thought they cleaned it and went in and somebody used the toilet and not flushed it, and was really a problem.
And another thing I wanted to say is I wanted to thank, I noticed Jim left.
Excuse me?
Yeah, go ahead, John, I saw you raise your hand.
Hold it.
That, you can go into the community center and go into the theater, easy, just, there's no lock on that door. So it's odd that you could go from the community center into the theater, anybody, but people in the theater can't get into the community center.
The
Now-
theater has to lock it from their side.
Excuse me?
The theater has to lock it from their side.
Also.
Now, I'm talking, so you're in the community center going into the theater,
You can just
Okay.
open it.
Right,
open.
they are leaving it open. is the
for what
problem.
reason?
I don't know.
I would think that
They're
it should just be
using-
the opposite of that, so that people from the theater can go into the community center, and people from the community center can't go into the theater. Does that make sense?
Well, it's up to the theater to lock their door. I'm not gonna go across and lock their door.
It does make sense.
Wait a minute, what did you just say?
I'm not gonna, it's not my job to lock the theater's door, nor is it my job to lock. the
They're
theater's.
locked, right? One of them doesn't lock,
Point of order.
Point of order.
Yeah.
one of them doesn't lock.
Yeah.
Right.
We're
Okay.
kind of in a, yeah.
Okay, I'm just, so anyway,
Appreciate your thoughts. Thank you.
my thought on it is that I don't think the theater board feels that they have access to the.
John, you're out of order.
What for?
This is comments from
Yeah.
the council, not the public.
Yes.
I thought I was recognized by someone in the council.
Well, I recognized him.
Yeah.
It
no,
doesn't
yeah,
matter,
no,
this is
yeah,
for
yeah.
council comments.
All right,
What do you think-
appreciate it, John.
Okay.
Pete, what do you got?
No, I haven't finished yet.
Okay.
I wanted to thank Jim Gordon for bringing up how the city used to work and the council and the mayor and the employees all used to work together. I was a council member when Bob Bites was mayor, when Rick Squibb was mayor, and Don Prince. And we never had this type of rapport before. It seems as if, and I want the people to realize that some of us council members feel as if we're blindsided a lot. a lot of things that go on, we don't know what's going on until it hits us in the face. And then people wonder why, how come we don't know, or how come we're not keeping up with this? And I want to thank Jim for bringing that up. And when I was doing the sign down here before Slippery Gulch, I had come into the city to just request if they could send down summer help to weed whack behind the rock there. No one came. And if I'm so bad of a person to just ask for something, I'm not gonna work on that walk anymore. I put $250 of my money on that sign to re-rock, extend that rock out and put bark in and to spray. And I felt as if, that's why I quit doing the rock. When John was mayor, John was behind me 100% on all the signs that I put in around town. He had helpers, Kevin and Dwayne, come behind me and pick up all the weeds, all the debris. He had them come out and spray the weeds that were growing. I'm not even getting that, so I feel I'm losing. I don't even want to do the rock anymore. It's to me, if city can't stand behind me, forget it.
Thanks,
Can I ask, didn't we put in a budget $5,000 a year for going towards the signage and cleanup of that area? We did that about 2022, 2021, is that not part
We
of it?
did, and there is mowing, et cetera, different maintenance that goes on out there. We've had volunteer crews come through there. I'm sorry, I don't have any recollection of what Sharon's talking about.
I came into Nikki, I asked Nikki, you were on vacation that week.
Okay, so that was not Slippery Gulch. That
Okay, it was a day that you weren't there.
So we have been doing those things, and I was unaware of
So it's just sort of a miscommunication, because I've seen, I mean, because it looks like things have been keeping up overall, so maybe it was a checking back.
Well, the sign looks terrible now. I mean, it needs to be weeded and it needs to be sprayed, so.
Okay, thank you, Sharon.
Okay, but this, as we talked about before, those demonstration signs that we have all over the town, and airport and golf course, most of them leaked. And what I'm kind of propose is, Stephen, if we could, to show that the company that what the problem is, have Public Works come and maybe while I'm there, take pictures or video of when they take it apart, so to show how bad they were, and that we did take it apart and put it together correctly, because I've not seen that part, and then send that video to them and say, this is what we have. You guys, there's a problem with your signs. How are you gonna, what do you gotta stand behind these things? What do you suggest our solution is? They weren't supposed to leak at all. What do you think?
So they're one, not supposed to be watertight.
Huh?
They're not supposed to be watertight. You're supposed to put either a laminate photograph or, laminate poster in there. It's not just supposed to be paper. And that's why it got ruined, is because we were just putting paper in there. They're not designed to be watertight.
See, when I purchased them, the whole idea was for them, they tell me this, barking dogs, it sounded like they didn't sell the stuff, that you could put anything in there, any laminate paper, and those were watertight, and you could, that was the selling point, because you could change it quarterly or whatever you want to do and put things in there. So, thinking that, we put stuff that would be damaged, this paper, to see if that would hold up. But you're saying that the way those are designed, you gotta have something, plastic or some other material that won't be damaged by water, because it's gotta have water penetrating.
You're just putting two pieces of plexiglass and sandwiching what you have in there. You're sandwiching that and then sliding it into a metal case.
Oh, it is.
So there's no gaskets, no nothing to prevent water.
That's disappointing, because that was not, because I could have gotten lots of them that are, but you see them around there. You put them in, you seal them up, and they stay that way. That would have been easy. This was the only place that sold the ones you could change it out. But you can, but it's gotta be something permanent that won't be damaged with water.
You can just laminate the pieces of paper.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
okay, you guys
Now-
get together, have some, get a
Okay, now, so that's what I was gonna ask, and, of course, I would support what you're saying as far as what's going on. Now, the other thing is, I don't know if we know, I think we want an executive session tonight.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Well, I know, we're getting there.
Hey, Mike,
Nothing.
Dave?
Yeah, I got one. John was trying to reflect that we have a problem in town that needs to be looked at. And he was trying to bring this out, where we could see what needs to be done, if it possibly can be fixed. So I think shutting him down was wrong. That's my opinion.
Well, if we would have had a public comment at this time of the meeting, we could have heard it. Okay, thank you, Dave. Michelle?
Yeah, I have a few things. I thought we were gonna have the annual report. So is it finished?
I have not gotten, the feedback from.
Can we still just see what was
You
said?
absolutely can see it, if you'd like, I can just email it to you.
Well, that'd be good, and discuss it, and maybe go over with us anything, with that. And then I had some questions on the treasurer's, or, I'm sorry, on the check register, some of the things here, see what the costs were. Transaction 920, it was like some plumbing, for $1,935, was there something break in the city, or?
I think you're probably talking about the well at the airport, where
19, it's on July 15th, it's on the first page, about halfway down.
Are you talking, check number 17959?
Where are the check?
For
Yes.
1935-40? Yes, that is the well at the airport. That required both electrical and plumbing work.
Okay. And then, so jumping down just a little bit underneath that, it's transaction 926, the Department of Ecology cash room section for $12,800.
That's one of our loans. So anytime we make a payment to the Department of Ecology, that's what you're gonna see, Department of Ecology cash rooms.
Okay. And then on that last page, there was, almost at the end, 999. What's Skyway Customs, 5,000?
Skyway?
Yeah.
That is for the fire department, and they had some work done on an engine.
A couple of other quick things. Is the new whistle not working anymore?
No, after it had its thing where it was going off at 1 o'clock in the morning-ish.
I was out of town when it happened, so I guess I didn't.
Oh,
hear
okay.
it. I saw something on Facebook.
Right, it has not been,
Will we be able to fix it, or?
I don't know that there's been any movement to fix it.
I can add to that if you want.
Yeah.
So, I talked to Donovan about it. The plan was to possibly have Donovan look into a new bell that would be at the fire station, and then discontinue those, and he would do the noon bell and the fire alarm bell, to do those. So I'm basically waiting on him to come before you guys.
Okay, so we're not gonna get rid of the new whistle, but hopefully not.
No, I just
Okay.
haven't hired an electrician to look at it yet.
Okay, great. I think it's a really important, neat feature of our town, that it's always fun when people first move here, like, what is that? And to be in some of the other small towns that still have that, so that's great to know. And I wanted to issue a thank you to the community in general, and shout out to a couple of our businesses and community groups here in town. So we had a shoe drive for the schools. First year we did this, and it was kind of exciting to see how excited and to just again, Tekoa really comes through for one another. So we were talking about that. It's still happening. It's still alive. And so when I was at the library a few years ago, and the school has been doing efforts for back to school supplies, and one thing came up with a few parents is, shoes are so expensive. So we were able to do that this year. We provided 20 pairs of 20 pairs of sneakers, school shoes, for 20 kids. And I want to thank Banner Bank, Tekoa Library, Helping Tekoa Coalition, and Homestead General, because I kind of did some things behind the scenes to make that happen. And it's just really exciting when you know a kid that's in junior high and high school and see that they're going to get a pair of Nikes or a really nice pair of shoes. It was just, I love the heart of our people to jump in and do that. So thank you, Tekoa. Thank you for those who are involved. And I just want to say that and I've been in conversation with Yolanda and Jennifer about this, but if as new families come into town, or if there's someone who's like, oh, I didn't know anybody was doing that, we try to communicate it really well. But if you're aware of somebody, please contact me. I'll make sure we get shoes for everybody who needs those. So then the parks, I'll have a report. I was going to do it this time. I'll have that next time. And that's all for me.
Okay, great.
So Roy, I just wanted to say something. I feel really sympathetic towards Sherry, because I don't think people realize how many years, even Jay and Sherry, the things they've done voluntarily for this town, and never ask for a cent, just sweat equity and money out of their own pocket. I mean, everything from putting the pavers in where the town square is, to paint, you had a mural, you painted a mural, I know, and plus all the work she's done at every landscaping thing she attacks. She has such a compassion for the people in our town and the way it looks. And I just want you to know that you're a special person, and I wish everybody could see that.
Great, thank you. At this point, we'll approve the bills. Accept the motion.
I make a motion to approve the bills as stated.
Okay, and seconded. Mike, seconded. Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, at this point, we're gonna go to executive session.
What's the reason?
Legal action,
Potential or?
potential.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna, otherwise, 10 minutes.
So now that's gonna
We'll
do
come out at 8:30, and then we'll adjourn. Okay?
intense and good.
Please repeat the number.
So,
Let's go back to this. We have some answers to some questions.
Why do you have to be kind of?
Pete, Pete.
I just asked.
Would you like to formal response, or would you like to be down?
I don't care which one you want to do.
Psychological. Sometimes people have less in their life use narcissism as a tool to reinforce.
My daughter had to leave for marriage class, but.
You know, a lot of people do a lot of things, they never get a thank you, and they don't even.
It's full of things, you never know.
Kid goes out.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, well.
Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight.
I used to have a Hard Rock Cafe shirt from Iceland.
Doesn't matter, right?
You know, before I started collecting them, I got one there for somebody else. Yeah, because he asked me, hey, give me one more. And then after that, I'm like, goes to Iceland.
I did.
We had a alert commitment up there, and then we'd stop going between here and Germany. We'd stop there on the home for gas.
Yeah.
So I did a 3-week alert tour there once, and then stopped in many times.
I get really tired.
Yeah, I was there for 2 years. So, were you Navy? Because that's a Navy base. Yes, it is. But there's an Air Force. Yeah.
There's a F-15 squadron there.
That's AWAC. That's who we did the alert for the 15.
And I was out on rock for
You don't have to have
early warning
somebody.
defense.
Okay.
They will give you 5 minutes. If you're supposed to have, you don't ask.
Put in a brand new radar sight and they close it down.
Some people will notice, some people won't. And it
This is
won't
from
be because they
Steph.
didn't appreciate it, right? Because they just didn't notice. Ah. I'm doing okay.
a lot sitting for you. Are you okay?
Yeah,
You're not the
yeah,
only
I'm
person
okay.
who asked that
I'm
question.
not in a while.
You have to walk it
It's usually
sometime.
with
Yeah,
the
some
dog.
people save it for the summer.
Okay. In corn.
Some items,
Yeah,
not all.
they, yeah,
Yeah, she got a
yeah, I've walked in from us, yeah.
I mean, to have tears to give somebody information
Okay. Yeah, she
is
has-
very
I think she's got
unprofessional.
some his.
Yeah, I need to
It's
get,
very
I need to get one of his.
I've been asking for it. I don't know who you can give me one.
Well, that's good, buddy.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks. If I want to compliment them, I'll come over and say, Darlene, I need a compliment. Okay, I'll give you one. Oh, I was gonna tell you, if you were gonna say, okay, compliment yourself.
it's too late.
I know. I have,
I don't know.
I think I was in business too long. I get-
About 30 years, that's only-
They were coming up. Men too, I had a few, very few. They learned very quickly, it didn't do any good.
You know, there's dogs that I can see from my building window. Two of them
I
just,
sure understood exactly.
bark at everything.
That's why you got hot. Yeah.
If they're in the thing.
So,
That's I was going to talk to him
Jesus.
after the last time we met. And, he said he was thinking about it.
I just saw that this morning.
And then we got to talking. He said, you gotta do it.
Yeah, I was talking to his wife. I told him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have your life. That is your life. That's what I finished with. You have to do
You can put something.
that. Okay.
More and more, I see.
Yeah, I see my.
Your sign should be right in, your name on the check mark.
Right eye.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, so a block, a
More
line,
and more.
or a circle,
Yeah,
and a line, and mine is right.
right, with the check mark. Right, it's got this, yeah, squiggly.
Yeah, that's
Fill
right.
in.
So see, my wife would not let me put a Dylan sign in my yard.
Yeah, she would.
Or she let me put a meat sign in my yard.
It's got around the side.
Yeah. I was gonna put one in my car for Dylan,
Mm-hmm.
stayed in,
I hear you.
and then I could just park my car on the street, that's why.
I see up over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, snoozing. Yeah.
What I thought about doing, my big white trailer,
She said.
I thought about
I
parking.
don't think it would have been your friend
Did you look nice? Saw you coming down the trail, 'cause I
No,
was
I don't think so. I was still like,
Yeah, which
I
way to
usually
go
look.
as the opposition.
Well, see, that's.
She said, good thing I got Luke in the
Yeah.
house. I think he's.
But she's
I
trying to.
don't think he went.
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
Well, he's got pretty independent.
Yeah.
Mr. She needs.
Yeah.
Well, winter's coming.
Let's do that.
He'll get on it and-
That's-
Yeah, he doesn't like them.
I mean,
She passed
So we'll play here or we'll
away. Right, 16, right. So, yeah. It's. Her son took care of it.
Well, see, I figured if the two split, because he's.
Or
he
to
would
stay,
get
or
all
to stay on it forever.
She endorsed him. Right. But if you
And she,
split,
you know, usually would go down and take something.
I mean, he just so.
Lunch, and she was always, she was pretty much blind, but she would, Wayne would, you know,
Yeah,
she
probably
cooked
since
it,
the-
he would cook the ingredients and stuff.
okay,
and stuff,
okay.
but, yeah. Just,
Support.
so we're gonna take you out to lunch instead of.
once some of my daughters are doing that, because she's in town now.
It's been such a long time since I've been.
She's
I was
texting
thinking,
right next
you
to
know,
me.
when the kids were small, we got to places.
She's staring, he was looking at you, I said,
Usually
I'm
we go
hot.
to the same place. I've been to downtown.
And she goes,
whereas-
it's gotta be that.
Right? Same thing with the downtown thing. It's kind of cute.
It is.
But I just haven't been there in forever.
We're driving around some town.
Yeah. Okay.
Just whistles. Hey, sweetie.
And,
Yeah.
she said, you get to see that, you just whisper. I said, we can't, just whisper. She freaked out when I said that. You see those two cheerleaders?
Is it the Detroit Lions or something like that? Two guy cheerleaders, and they're not like big guys, they're all girls up there, guys that look like girls.
I was at a blonde. Guys, ponytails. One of them can deliver to
Anyway,
You
gotta
know,
go down.
if they do things like
Get my
that,
inputs for the
Decent.
license.
I was, when I was still working for finance, before I started the life.
Like I have just kids, yeah, and Donna got all her stuff.
Big dude. He lived through
He
that.
did not live there.
Really?
Yeah.
If it's hot outside, I mean, if it
Like,
was
okay,
okay for guys to wear skirts or dresses just because it's hotter outside. Because pants get pretty hot sometimes.
It's called.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, but it's made out of wool and checker.
You gotta find out what clan you are.
Yeah, and you gotta throw trees around.
We went to snow.
But it doesn't really disappoint.
Or kilt, but it's, the fabric, you know, it's all this, you know, clan, this clan, this clan. And I walked around, I found one that I like. I bought it. You go, oh, you want to such and such. I said, I don't want this my color. It's green or purple, you know. And they look down at me, it's like, oh.
Because that reminded me, in Iceland, we were up there and we went to like an alpaca wool store.
They do the sky thing.
No, it was a sheep. Was it sheep? A sheep.
Unless they put some incense, but you know,
Yeah,
all their wool comes from their sheep. And it was very expensive.
I bought a sweater for my wife.
Yeah.
when I was there.
Yeah, that's their Icelandic sheep.
They're sheep.
Yes. And they're this thick.
Yeah, yeah, the sweater was thick.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's the best wool you can get.
Yeah, there was, one of our guys, he was a navigator when we still had names. And he knew about it. And so that's where we went.
I've got a big sweater. It's got, Iceland.
Oh, no, that's not.
Oh,
I got a
this one
vest.
just had a pattern.
Yeah, I've got a vest. But yeah, the sheep were just roaming free. And we were told in the end process, if you hit one, you gotta pay for it.
How to make it, take a
Seven
page from all the
generations.
places that are fun to say.
Because that is their
Why
livelihood.
kind of wow.
They said, you see them do stuff, and then you clear and do a crossroad and push them.
Yeah.
You gotta pay. Oh, yeah. When you consider the amount of wool that they can get off of one,
Well, and what else, what other industry do they have up there?
dynamite. They're the world's biggest creator of dynamite.
Really? Do they
Yes.
have?
Yes, we are. That's gonna be his
Talking about
campaign.
I'm talking about,
That's gonna be his sign, right there.
I don't know if I can put a sign up in my front yard though.
I know it. He can put it in mine.
I couldn't put a Hilton sign up.
I'll tell you where it's at. It's not, don't listen to her directions.
I told you I had a greenhouse.
You said
You
brown.
know where I live. I did not ever say brown. When I moved here,
I was going up and down the street trying to find it. I had to go to Mike and get it. I gave it to Mike so he could put it up.
when I moved here, it was pink and purple.
See, I could have found that.
Yeah, I got rid of that, but I was, shoot, that was gone before I ever got that painted. I wanted to paint it, so I told you that's the first thing that happened. So, anyway.
Okay. if I
We
just-
do have an aneurysm tonight, but heart attack.
Well, that's what he suggested for his son.
Did
Have
you?
an oval on the line.
Is it all right?
Oh, everyone's
We're still live. Okay,
Okay.
Let it show that we came out at 8:32. At this point, I will close the executive session, accept a Motion to adjourn.
Motion that we adjourn.
Okay, Patty, any seconded? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Adios.
No.